All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm Dylan.
I'm Elle.
And we both love soup. So many things to talk about.
Oh, God. None of them good. No.
Well,
a few good things.
We should start off with the Remembering Raven.
Oh, yeah. I lost my 13-year-old kitty, and he had been sick. He'd had something wrong for years that we were giving him a steroid, and they thought it was like IBS or something. And then all of a sudden he took a turn. He just started losing weight. And he was at one point, I think, a 15-pound kitty, and he was 9 pounds at the end, or almost 8. And yeah, we limped him along as long as we could, and I think we just realized we're not doing any favors, so we let him go.
Your mom's hitting photo of him at the keyboard.
I know.
Was so cute.
And I have had him since I could hold him in one hand. He was
So how is
itty-bitty.
Crow doing being an only kitty now?
Crow has been normal. Like, he really has been off and on a little shit, and
Which
off
is
and on
normal.
sweet kitty. Yeah, he really is just his normal self. So I do want to test Riker on him. We need to bring Riker over. We want to see if we can maybe rescue an old dog, and we got
a good 6 or 7 year old dog. That would be, you can even go as young as like 4 or 5, depending on the breed.
I would go as old as I can get.
Yeah,
for a really good dog, though. I don't want some gross dog.
After 7 is when they really mellow out.
Yeah,
so I'm picking my nail polish off.
I don't even know. I don't know. I'm so used to cats
They
now.
do anchor you.
Yes.
But since you have an animal sitter that isn't just exclusive to cats,
we almost
she does
need
Rover.
like a non-walkable dog, because right now my sitter is not.
If you get a senior dog,
they're not really walky. Okay.
Depending how senior you get. Riker right now,
I would have to get a dog that doesn't really
he's
need a lot of walking.
re-energized by that new pill I've been giving him.
That's amazing. I noticed a difference in Riker with the new pill.
It's a legit, you know how there's always these things you see, oh, it's going to make your dog walk better, give him chondroitin, give him glucosamine, all these things. Well, I fall prey to all that because I'm one of those
for ourselves.
I'm one of those people that legit looked into cloning my previous dogs, and I will buy whatever dog health thing, I will spend whatever money it takes
to get more years
and
out of them.
You know, I think I saw something recently on like Instagram or something, which is, if your dog could live longer, would you trade a year of your life for it? And I'm like, yeah, I think I would. So I'm one of those people. And so I found this thing from a company called Works So Well. I know, lame name. But the active compound in it is called TDC, which stands for like tetrodex or whatever. And when I was at his vet appointment, I brought in the description. I said, hey, thinking about giving him this. It's like $60 a month. There's these little ampule caplets with oil in them. You can even give them the ampule. You can put it on their food. And she looked at it and she said, yeah, give it a try. She goes, it may work, it may not. And I said, great. Ordered it. He's been on it for about 60 days. And I swear to God, the difference is
We noticed
palpable.
it. We were over, and Riker and Rory were playing like puppies. And I have not seen Riker do that at all.
Crazy, he's on the walks. He's got vim and vigor. It's made a big difference. So I haven't changed anything else other than he started on the cricket food around the same time. But I mean,
I don't think the cricket food
is just a different of protein. So I'm chalking it up to these pills. And
he's got jumps now.
He's got jumps.
The cricket food gave him jumps.
Jiminy's. But yeah, super excited about the improvement in his vitality. And so I will pay whatever. And quite honestly, when you buy it like 6 months at a time, it winds up being about $60 a month.
Not bad.
Which is nothing.
Yeah. Worth it.
So excited about that. But I will say it's been a rough week for both Rory and Riker because of the damn fireworks.
Yeah. 4th of July was last weekend, and our neighbors setting them off at 10:30 at night. It is illegal in our county to set off fireworks.
And not just July 4th. It's the week leading up. It's the week after.
Yes.
So you're sitting on your couch and all of a sudden someone's boom.
Boom. Or bang, like all the little fireworks.
Pity anyone who's got PTSD or any kind of...
And this town is filled with people like that because we're close to a military base, and there's a lot of military and retired military here. I feel so bad for those people, and there's just no way to get away from it here.
Nope. So it was rough. I had them, they were cowering on the bed. I doped them up with gabapentin. I didn't go so far as to get like the full-on sedative from the vet. I think next year I'm full-on sedative.
Yeah.
I'm going to just knock, because they were so miserable. Rory was practically sitting on my head, And it just went on and on and on. And just when you thought it was over, kaboom, another one.
It's just so sad.
When we have the technology to do these drone shows,
and the drone
which
shows are so
amazeballs,
cool. Yeah.
why we're still blowing off pyrotechnics in an area that is a bunch
Fire
of kid-
tinderbox. Yes, exactly. That's the other reason.
Is ridiculous. And fireworks are expensive. Cities spend $250,000 to $500,000
Yeah.
to put on these shows.
And yes, the drone shows are expensive, but you only have to buy them once.
Yeah.
And then they just need to be reprogrammed each year. And that's got to be cheaper than fireworks.
yes,
and safer.
initial investment.
and
so
less boomy.
hear that. And then our poor eagles, that the fireworks going off are detrimental to just wildlife in general. And like Jackie and Shadow left their nest for a couple of days. They did come back, and Sunny and Gizmo had fledged, and so had disappeared. But they were happy someone had a sighting of one of them too, because the fear is that kind of stuff scares them away prematurely. So all around, fireworks bad.
Yes,
okay?
fireworks bad. Okay.
All right, so we'll get to. I came across a bike on. Well, I'm going to back this up. So Ed and I went and did a day of. I'm going to call it a day of validation. We decided.
Wait, we got to back this up even further. Let's talk about. All right, so you all know that we are avid e-bikers. Well, Casey has been riding on his acoustic gravel bike more and more and more, and then Ed started riding on his acoustic road bike even more and more and more. And so
Antique road bike.
That inspired me to get on my gravel bike more and more and more. And we're doing this ride this weekend that the three of us are going to ride on our acoustic bikes. Okay, proceed. Okay. That was a little backstory.
Yeah. And I actually, for a year or so now, Ed's been talking about us getting a gravel bike. He wanted us to get the Canyon electric one, and it didn't get great reviews and yada yada. I think he wanted the Canyon because he's got the hots for Emily Batty, and she used to ride for Canyon, whatever. And so for our anniversary this year, his gift, because I didn't actually get anything, was, we should get you a gravel bike. And I'm like, do you got one for me? He goes, well, no, we're going to shop for it together. And I'm like, oh. Okay, so it's like a homeward bowling ball. We're going to shop for it, but you're going to get the thing you want. And I'm like,
And he's going to use it. I thought this was legitimately a Homer bowling ball. This is for Ed.
and so, we looked, and there's not a lot of them out there right now because it's about to undergo like the new model year. So we went on last Wednesday when we went to go get global entry. On the way home from that interview, we went and stopped at a bike shop that had one in stock to ride. Now, it had a 54-inch one, but they let me ride it around and tool on it, and determined I probably need a 56, which would be a large. Great. When you guys get them in stock, September, they're going to be $6,000. Okay, let us know if you want to order one. So I had in my head, this is what it was like. I really like the Specialized model versus Canyon, which was, an unknown and didn't get great reviews. So we just kind of left it at that. And I went on Facebook Goods just out of curiosity and said, hey, is anyone dumping, last year's model of these or whatever? Found a guy about 2.5 hours away from here who had a size large. He said, barely used, 100 miles on the motor. He could show you in the app that it only had 100 miles, and was selling it along with some accessories. And he had it listed on Facebook Goods for $3,500. So I reached out to him. I said, tell me a little more about the bike, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it was a large, and this was on 4th of July. And we had the Tesla 48-hour test drive.
The 3rd of July.
No, we actually picked it up on the 4th.
Oh, was it the 4th? Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. I was out of town. Yeah.
And so we had the Tesla 48-hour test drive. So we were like, let's beat the crap out of the Model Y and let's drive all the way up to Santa Clarita and get this bike. Well, I negotiated him down to $2,500, and he's like, fine. We met him he suggested at a police station, so we met at a police station. Lo and behold, this thing frickin' still had the price tag on it. It was brand spanking new, top of the line pedals, great shoes.
That happened to be your size. Which
Happened
is
to
just
be my size,
insane.
like frickin' Cinderella. And came with like a Lenzine satchel kit, great Shimano pedal. It was all together, Ed's added up. This is $6,500 worth of bike stuff. And fabulous. So my new bike's name is Pebbles.
Okay, now let me tell you why I'm pissed about this. Okay, so I've been really...
Come on, get on with it. It's
I've
our
been
turn.
really effing proud of myself for getting back on my acoustic bike. I'm in pain every day. We know this. I am on an acoustic bike. It is not easy. The other thing is, of our little foursome, Casey, Ed, Dylan, and I am the weakest link. On a mountain bike trail, I am the weakest link. On the pickleball courts, I am the weakest link. So Dylan, getting into acoustic riding on the road, I'm a road rider. I've ridden across the country. I am very comfortable on the road. I thought perhaps, just for once in my fucking life, I would be the less than the weakest link. And then we go for a ride. And when she said she was getting an road bike or gravel bike, I was like, oh, okay, that's okay. It'll look like it'll look like an electric bike. It fucking doesn't. It looks like a road bike. So now we went on a ride and we're climbing a hill and I'm just dragging behind everybody else like fucking usual. And that just pisses me off to no end.
Wait,
so
but you're dragging on an acoustic bike
yes.
compared to an electric bike that she's riding?
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, Ed and
Yeah, you're
Casey are
compar-
on acoustic.
You're comparing apples and
Yeah,
oranges.
that's not a comparison.
But people driving down the road don't know
Okay.
that she's on an electric
You know
bike
what
because
we're
it
gonna
doesn't
do?
look like an
We're gonna
electric
make her a little vest.
I know that
And the
says
vest
this
will
is
say,
electric.
I'm a lazy PO. No, I'm kidding.
She's lazy and she can't keep up. I
Okay,
know. And
so
it's gonna point
so
down at the
annoying.
So
motor
here's
and
what,
it's gonna
what
say,
it comes
"There's a
down
motor."
to, and I think you've mentioned this before when you were kind of asking me like what brings me joy and whatever. You treat cycling very different than I treat cycling. You are all about the pain and gain type thing. I am all about the fun. I'm out and about. I prefer not to be in pain. I am all good with no pain. So yeah,
I would be fine with that if your bike looked like an electric bike, but
What
it
if-
doesn't.
I'm being serious. What if she wore a vest and it pointed down
She
to the
won't.
battery?
She won't.
No, what if
She wouldn't.
Okay, she's riding with 3 acoustic people. Let's make her a vest and saying, hey, when you want to ride with us, you have
how
to
about
wear
a dunce
this
cap?
vest.
Let's just
Yeah,
give
a little-
you know what? Let's
Canada.
give me the dub rim.
If you had a debrim on, that might make
Because
me feel a little better.
I get it. As somebody who, I wouldn't say compete.
You and I are tough. We're tough.
Yeah,
We're
I don't
tough
wanna say
girls.
compete,
I want to
but,
be a
like,
tough girl.
Yeah, like when I'm running, I get it. If
Yeah.
somebody's running next to me who just started their run and I'm already on mile 6, I'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I look toasted and you don't. I
Right.
get that. So, what I'm saying is there's an easy solution here.
You really think she's going to wear a dunce cap? She
We
is
can-
not.
We can
She is not.
bedazzle a little lime vest that says, I'm on an e-bike, smiley face. And then people would get it. They would
And
get
okay,
that
here's
you
the
three
difference.
are-
In our Stravas, I very clearly have myself marked as E, and you don't. So I mean, that's
Yeah,
the
I was also
Strava
gonna
people
say,
know
well,
that.
you care
And so-
about the
Well, so
strangers.
Casey was saying anybody that knows bikes is going to know that that's an e-bike.
Yeah.
But your average schmo driving down the road is
So
not.
you care about
So
the
do you
average
care about the
schmoes.
extra
That's
schmo?
what she
You
was
need
like.
to
You
stop.
should only care about the other cyclists.
Put her in a lime vest with bedazzle that says
We're
she's
doing
on
this
an
40-mile ride on
yeah, you
Saturday
wouldn't
that
catch
I'm
me-
already feeling like I'm going to be the bringing up the beetle bombing it in the back, and you know she's going to be up there. I made fun of her. She's tootling along, spin, hair perfect,
Hair
and
curl.
5-day-old hair. That's
and
why I
I'm
look good.
dripping.
Yes. So
Looking
let's
like-
make her a little bedazzled dress that
Breathing.
Zach, I'm getting the hate over here, Zach.
and it says, I'm just out here for the fresh air." That's what did you just say? We'll take whatever quote you said and we'll bedazzle it on. Make a cute little vest that's lime and loud that says, "I'm on an e-bike."
But I don't
I'm
know.
here for
So
the fresh air.
my argument is, if you are really just in it for the fun, then why did you get a gravel
Well, the
bike?
2500 sounds like a good
because
Why
I know-
not just ride your other e-bike?
then I have a good explanation for that.
Okay, here we
As I've been doing more riding with you guys when you're on acoustic, you're on acoustic can actually go faster than me, even on my unregulated e-bike. On those
riding back.
straightaways, because what happens when you guys are on acoustic, we're not hitting as many hills. We're not hitting the technical part. The stuff that was my advantage, I lost completely when you guys went to full
Yeah,
road
now
bike.
you know how I fucking feel all the time.
And so I'm like, okay, this is not fun anymore when I'm struggling to just keep up with your guys, 18 mile per hour freaking pace. Plus, my other e-bike is getting up there in age. It's already five years old. I was in the market for a new bike. Anyway, and the last but not least, and then we're getting off this subject.
This is a pretty niche topic.
Picking on Dylan here.
Nobody here can relate to this.
It now means we have enough bikes that our whole family, including Brett, can go on longer rides.
Yeah.
So Miranda needs to stop
Not
talking
Zach,
about bedazzling.
you don't have enough for 5.
Well, when I learned that the bike
need
was
one more
coming to me,
e-bike
you
now.
see how I teamed up with her. I was like, screw this.
You get use of it though,
I
when we
know,
go
I
on
know.
the
I'm kidding.
four-person rides. So
Anyway,
anyway,
when I'm
our
going
bike
to Elle,
pedals.
I think
it.
there's a solution. I'm a solutions-oriented brain.
I think your
and
solution
the
sucks.
is-
I would like a better
You know
solution.
what? I will act on the solution, and we'll just see what happens. She can wear it. She can not.
So
She won't wear it.
the point I'm making is shop Facebook goods before you buy anything new. You'd be amazed at what people we got. Miranda's great Pottery Barn dining set. I literally saved more than 60%. Didn't have to pay sales tax. Didn't have to wait till September.
I do think that was a little bit of a, what is it called when you get something that is completely unbelievable deal. Like that's crazy that you found a bike that is specific in your size.
It's like freaking it is kismet
that
to
is
the max.
super kismet.
The fact when he broke out the shoes and put them on the ground, and like Cinderella, I stepped out of my shoes and I stepped into the shoe. Ed just looked at me and he goes, "Do those fit?" And I said, "Yeah." And then we turned the tag over and they were 43s, and he's like, I mean, the guy was smaller than me, so it made sense.
All I can hope,
oh geez,
selfishly, is that she's going to start clipping in to
I
her
am.
pedals.
I
She's
just
gonna
learned to
tumble.
clip
All
in.
I can
She's
hope
gonna
is
tip.
that she just gets stopped at a stoplight and falls flat over.
I've been practicing
Being
clipping.
the bitch that I am.
Right, Zach? I've gone out 3 times practicing clip. First, I did it on the trail, so if I tipped over, I'd go in the grass. Today, we went to the mall to go to the sandwich to make sure it was like really dicey, and I had to clip and unclip.
You will fall over at some point.
And yeah,
Anybody that knows this, John, my friend who rode across the country with me, who's listening, I hope, he knows. You will fall at some point.
well, I used to. I
I mean,
had
I've
clips
still
a long
almost
time
fallen
ago.
now, and I've been riding for 25 years. So
When I used to, when
Yeah.
we rode with Ed, when
25?
clips first came out,
shit.
I clipped.
45 years.
But then I find the more I do mountain biking, I don't like being in clips for mountain. I totally get why road, because now I have the pull action. When I was just balanced on those pedals, you only get the push. Now when you're clipped in, you get the push
I don't
pull.
know, we
push,
ride
pull,
so
push,
much
pull.
road and gravel on
That's
our
why-
mountain bikes.
That's
so.
why we welcome Pebbles into the homestead.
Welcome, Pebbles.
Welcome,
Yay.
Pebbles.
Okay.
So on the topic of hobbies, I've been reading, because as we get into our other topic, we're talking about just the shit show that is the world right now,
Politics in the world.
and how we're so depressed. So reading a lot of things about how to be more joyful, because my gosh, man, the anger, I find myself sometimes
I'm
just
so
gripping.
angry. And Casey's noticing. He's like, I am super.
Just anger is oozing out of me. And so they say that hobbies play a big role in being happy and having balance. And this article in particular talked about, okay, you can't just like randomly say, I'm going to do this, because some hobbies fit in.
You have to have joy. It has to give you joy.
When they fit in at different stages in your life, right? Like when you're working, there's some hobbies you aren't going to be able to do because they're very commonly done during the, like I would love to join a women's golf league. I looked into it. Guess when they play?
Right when you're working.
9 a.m.
Yeah.
on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
They don't play in the evening. They play in the morning. And I'm like, well, that is not a hobby for somebody who has 5 days a week of work.
Right.
Same with some of the pickleball things
Yeah,
that
we've
we've
been
looked into.
struggling with playing pickleball twice a week. We for a while we were on a pretty good groove, and now we're kind of dropping.
It's just
off
hard
a
to get 4 people's schedules to mesh, particularly when 2 of them are grandmothers that do a lot of babysitting,
Yes.
and volunteering and things like that. And I get it. Other people have full lives.
I
but-
do get joy out of biking. I bike by myself. I bike today.
Yeah, she did.
I bike all the
So,
time.
but think about hobbies. Like I want to get back into stained glass, and I got my list of things. I'm ready to pull the trigger and really start doing that again. But I'm not afraid to think about a hobby and bookmark it, because it may not be what I need right now. And they say that also can bring you joy if you have a sense of what is up in the next chapter.
Huh.
So,
Okay.
hobbies, secret to happiness. So before we get into our theme for today, we've got our loving or loathing product spotlight. Don't know if you've brought up anything, but I want to talk about the the lashes that we are using
the
now.
fakey
So
lashes.
we have pimped out on many a show about Lashify, and
Right.
that's the under eyelash lash system that we've been using now for going on
Forever,
3
yeah.
years, and love them,
Love them.
but they're expensive.
Yeah.
Starting to add
And
up.
you can get multiple uses out of them if you wash them, but I very seldomly do my lash laundry, and the lighter
They're getting
ones.
more fragile.
Well, the lighter ones that we kind of
Don't wash
determined we
well.
like don't wash well at all.
So I found one day while at a CVS picking up, because normally I don't go into a CVS, but I had to go in for something. And while I'm standing in I never know why their lines at CVS are always so bloody long, because CVS is not cheap. It's not, it shouldn't be your first choice of things. I'm looking, and one of the little end caps had these under lash, so knockoffs of Lashify made by a company called Ardell, Ardell. And so I'm standing there and I pick them up. I'm looking like, damn, these look just like Lashify. Like 100%. These look like the ones I just bought. 32 lashes in a pack. And then the price was $5. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? We pay for one of the cartridges from Lashify $20, and it's got 10 lashes in it. I'm like, these things are like 1/8 the price.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try them. So they had D's and they had one other one. So I bought both packs, and I use Lashify's glue because I don't know that I trust
Some
some
Chinese
of the
glue,
Chinese
yeah.
glue. I like the American-made glue. So I
Although
use my
I have to say, Lashify's glue sucked lately. They're doing something to their
They
the white
changed the
glue
formula. Yeah, I have to
it get
admit.
gunked up. I'm really annoyed with their glue, but I agree with you. I'm not going to use the Chinese glue. I'm going to stick with Lashify's glue.
So did it, put them on, and even you noticed, you're like, hey,
Your lashes look
which
great, yeah.
lashes are you using? I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to admit to you, these are my $5. And it's like the $5 kit is basically 3 full sets, and they wash like a freaking
Yeah.
dream. The negative to them,
Negative.
because there's always a
They're
negative.
plastic.
So unlike Lashify's, which are silk, these are plastic. So the mental justification in my head is, because you got to always have one, right? Ate at Chick-fil-A the other day.
I
And
know.
so-
I totally gave her shit for eating at Chick-fil-A.
I'm
her
still,
and Ed. I was like,
still
what the
racked
fuck?
with guilt. Racked with
We
guilt.
give
over
you
this.
so much shit. We give Ed
I
so much
know,
shit
I
for eating
know,
at
I
McDonald's,
know.
and you eat at freaking
I'm
Chick-fil-A.
still in repentant mode of
You
that.
must repent. Repent.
So because they are plastic, they wash like a freaking dream.
So that's the only good thing, because I do feel like, all right, they're not going into landfills. We are in, microplastics into the
Just
ocean.
seriously, it's like you just scrub. Whereas the Lashify ones, I have to sit there and be real, and they were starting to separate. These things are like bionic.
And I'm justifying as well, because I too tried them and like them.
Like them.
The spine of Lashify's is definitely plastic, even though the lashes themselves.
Good point.
So even though we are trying to convince ourselves that they are all silk and that they're biodegradable and yada yada, I'm pretty sure the spine is plastic and therefore microplastics, and we're doomed to go to hell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
burning in hell.
pretty much. Yeah, environmental
My
hell.
Chick-fil-A was delicious.
Okay. Don't even go there. No one should go to
I know,
Chick-fil-A.
I
They are the evil. They are the devil.
Okay.
No Chick-fil-A.
So speaking of the devil, our topic for today,
Is Trump? No.
I'm calling it, is it the end of the world as we know it?
I don't feel fine.
And we don't feel fine. So a couple weeks ago, got a lot of hope out of the No King's Day
the
protest.
No King's Day really was inspirational. I did not go. You did not go.
But
Miranda went.
Miranda went to L.A.
Yeah. I wore my shirt.
bedecked-
I wore a
yeah.
shirt in protest, but we celebrated Father's Day early and went to a winery.
It was a spectacular day.
And
It was amazing.
The turnout was amazing.
Even here in
peaceful.
our town, our little town,
Oh
amazing.
my gosh. Thousands of people showed up at what we call here the Duck Pond is kind of our
Which
central.
is our
loca-
little, yeah.
I came away from that day energized. Now this was before the stupid bill passed.
Big bitchin'
and I'm like, this is it.
bastard
This is
bill.
it. We're on the right track. There are sane people. It isn't 50% of this nation. He's definitely stole this bloody election because, man, people are not happy about this. And then it just everything went back to normal.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Wait, really quickly, did I tell Elle that when I was walking back
Oh,
from
yeah.
the No Kings protest? Most peaceful day ever. Honks, everyone's dancing, whatever. We parked in a mall parking lot, so we had to walk back like half a mile. And a guy, as we were crossing the street, was like, I don't want to say all the words, but like the worst of the, you dumbass CC, get the off this planet. And I turned, I looked, it was a dad with his kids, 3 kids in the car, minivan, cussing Brett and I out. Show me your tits, girl. Show me your tits.
Are you
in front of his-
serious?
In front of his kids, screaming at us. And I was like, oh God. I was like, Brett, please just keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. Brett turns. He's like, shut the fuck up. And then they just start literally, like, you know when you're walking across a crosswalk, you're kind of really close to those cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, Brett, you're going to get us killed. I said that. I was like, you're going to get us killed. Keep walking, keep walking.
This
And then
is
he was
not the
like, yeah, you
leg to
Because I kind
stand
of
up.
started jogging. He's like, you better run, you dirty little C. Got it. No.
In
Show me
front
the-
of his
let me-
kids.
In
your
front
wife-
of his
in front of his
kids.
kids. And I have to admit, I would have preferred Brett to say nothing, but I was also like, wow, that was.
I'm impressed
Would
that
have
he
been
did.
weird if he said nothing.
Yes.
I would have then also been like, huh? But I also.
Casey
like,
would have
Brett
said
could've-
nothing.
Oh, it could
and-
have gotten bad very quick.
And I think that there's a part of me that really wants to be that person that's like, blah, 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 and then
Yeah.
there's a part of me that can't ever think of anything to say in the
I didn't know
moment.
what to say, so what I did was I turned around and I blew him a kiss.
Oh, that's a good one. I
But
like that.
Then he said, "That's right," like to Brett. He's like, "That's right. I got your wife wants to suck my." I'm telling you,
of his
guys,
kids,
in
in
front of
you.
his kids,
Minivan
scream-
dad.
And you know, it's just the awkward like 30-second cross. It was a long crosswalk.
Yeah.
Just started cussing at us from the beginning, saying all these things, and I started jogging. You better run, you dirty. And I was like, we're gonna die.
And I'm
He's
sorry,
gonna
but
just kill
that
us.
to me is just so much of what I see.
That's
know.
why it was the
Trump
juxtaposition of we were
supporters,
literally
really.
walking back
I-
smiling.
Blowing bubbles, dancing
Blowing
in the
bubbles,
streets.
yeah.
I mean,
and
the
then we were
King's
just
protests
quietly
were
walking
phenomenal.
back,
There was no
and we got
violence.
Curse the F out. And then the cherry on top was then we were like, I was like, oh my God, I'm a little bit scared. Like, let's get back to the car. Another car pulls up to us, rolls down their window, and I was like, dear Lord, like, Brett, please don't say anything. And it was a couple, Latina couple. Thank you so much for joining today. Like, we really appreciate it.
Oh,
And I was
that's
like,
good.
oh, thank God.
That just healed you. That
I was
healed your
afraid
heart.
that you might have been cussing me out again, like this
Yeah.
other car. And it was like, oh my gosh. But like, just the polar opposites
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Yeah.
within 5 minutes. I was like, this is crazy. But that kind of sums up,
Yeah.
like,
Where
what
our
you're saying
country's
is,
at.
guess what? We're not, like, that didn't solve everything.
No.
Yeah.
Because then,
Because then 2 weeks later, the worst piece of legislation to ever come
Yes.
forward, giving Trump unchecked control.
We are 100% convinced that Congress has either been frightened off or bribed off.
Yeah.
Like
well,
they're
the Alaska
literally getting
woman was 100% bribed, wasn't
Yeah.
she, Zach?
Yeah.
So she wasn't going to vote. And then they needed her. And then they made concessions where basically like she wasn't going to have to comply with several of the pieces of the order. And they bribed her.
Yeah, they bribed her.
Because combination of, we're going to make your life difficult on you, or we can do this for you. Do you want the vinegar? Or
But
do
I
you
know,
want...
like the Supreme Court, the lefty or center leaning
my
Supreme
God.
Court judges are getting death threats. And I'm sure members of Congress that lean left or center are getting death threats. And so it's basically if they can't buy you, they're threatening you.
Yeah.
And that is a breakdown of our
the
you
whole
know,
system.
The whole system. And we are effed. We are
And so
basically
even though
effed.
there are fewer of them, they're the grasshoppers from Bug's Life, and they are winning right now. And
Whatever
this,
happened with the assassination of that family?
oh, absolutely,
Nothing.
Trump blamed them
Yeah.
But like,
and their
so isn't
dog.
that
They
proof that,
killed
like-
their dog.
I know, but isn't
Yeah.
that proof that there's death threats, hence and deaths being
Yeah, Trump wouldn't call
Gone
walls.
through
Didn't
with.
go. He was golfing in the funeral.
He's
Biden,
golfing all the time. We are
Biden
paying
came
for that
to the
man to
funeral.
golf.
Kamala came to the funeral. The
Yeah.
dog is the first dog to lie in state ever.
Oh.
He
hear
was
that.
given,
so sad.
Just that's where we're at. So the other particularly sad thing that happened on King's Day is I sent pictures of Miranda.
King's Day.
No King's Day.
King's Day.
King's Day. No King's Day was I sent some pictures of Miranda in her very fanciful protest gear to my mom's sister, my Aunt Deb. And I just was saying, wow, and pictures of the protest in our town. And I sent it to her like, I'm really, really energized by this. She proceeds to then send a picture, a total MAGA meme picture. And I'm like, I'm confused by this because I was under the impression, and maybe this is still in Fantasyland, I knew she voted for Trump. I knew they had supported him. But I was under the impression recently, and I even talked about it on a podcast, that she was sorry she did, and she was being remorseful. And I've said here before, I can forgive those who voted for Trump
and are remorseful.
Are remorseful and are like, oh yeah, this is not where this was going.
This is not what I expected.
I voted on this issue, and wow, wouldn't do that again.
Yeah.
I thought she was one of them. And then she rebutted with, I support Trump, and I still do. I almost started crying. Miranda was sitting next to me. I almost cried at the table. We were with Miranda's mother-in-law and her friend, and we were out at a nice restaurant, and I kind of started shaking, and I was just upset. I couldn't string together a sentence. And Miranda had a little bit to drink, and so she's like, let's call her. Let's call her right now.
No, I said I wanted her to explain why in text. Give her the chance to write it out, get your thoughts on paper, because so much of talking to, my experience on the street, like, let's have a civil conversation about this.
Yeah,
I know
not
you're
yell obscenities back
especially
and forth.
Deb, if anything, like, I'm obviously not stoked that she's a Trump supporter, but she's smart. I know she's a smart girl. So explain to me how this makes sense in your head. And I think that's what I told you. I was like, ask her, what does this mean?
And I haven't
you?
yet. She's tried to reach out to me. I don't want to have the conversation. I think I'm going to write her a snail mail letter.
Go old school. Say, hey, we just need to write. Because verbally, it never ends
So that inspired today's topic. And it was, I started writing down. I haven't articulated completely. But questions I would like to ask not only her, but quite honestly, anyone who still support to this day, after everything that has gone on, including Alligator Auschwitz.
And yes, we're calling it.
Still support him.
We're calling it Alligator Auschwitz and not Alcatraz, because Alcatraz they had due process, and Auschwitz they did not. And these people do not get due process. So Auschwitz is the term.
So I tried to articulate some just questions. And so my first one is that I would like her and or anyone who continues to support him to answer to me.
I don't know if my sister is still supporting or not. I don't
Do
even
you
want to
think
ask.
Trump's way of speaking and treating others reflects good leadership?
I can already picture what they would say.
What do you
Yes, he's a strong man representing our country. That's what they would say.
He's
broad
done.
sentence
He's
like
done
that.
everything
He's a
he
strong
promised.
man.
Is what I see online. He's done everything he's
and
promised
you
to
listen
do.
he can't string a sentence together.
but
People
that's what I'm
ask
saying.
him
I can
questions and he
picture them
doesn't
saying
understand the question.
I just and then that's where I'm like, how is he a strong man when he won't address a death, a massacre?
Yeah.
He won't address
The stuff that's going on with the
immigration things. He won't
Texas-
The
address-
Texas floods.
Yeah,
He's
the Texas.
he's playing
oh my
golf
gosh.
today again.
That's what I'm saying. So like, is that a strong man to you? And then I would ask them,
And
what
if
is
he-
the definition of a strong man?
But I
to
want
you?
that. I want that hand. I want
And
to
if he's
hear them.
confronted, he lies
Yes. Yeah.
and or deflects and or whatever.
But
He
I
just
can
is-
just picture that's their response.
Yeah,
to that
absolutely.
question.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one is your support of him about policy or the person? Would you support someone else who pushed the same policies?
That's a good question. Like a lot of people,
I think so much of this is it's him, and that if tomorrow, God willing, he dropped from a stroke or whatever, and Vance took over, like, well, the agenda's still there. You still got Vance. I don't think Vance has the magnetism and pull to continue to have that level. So there's something
I
about
think
the
he's a
reality
Hydra.
star.
See, I disagree. I think he's a Hydra. I think you cut off his head and 10 more grow
I guess
back.
maybe
in his
that's-
place.
I have to
false.
agree. I've almost gotten to the place where I think JD Vance is worse than Trump.
I do think J.D.
Oh, I
Vance
know
is
he
worse.
is because he's
than
he's
Trump.
But
scary
she
and
doesn't-
articulate.
they don't think he
I don't
has the
think he's
pull.
got the
I think he
je ne
does,
sais quoi.
especially if
In the
Trump went
religious
down.
crazies.
People call Trump God.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if their God is killed, they'll
Yep.
pick a new God.
Yeah.
And it will be JD Vance.
Well.
So that's.
But
gonna
I'd
be
like
more.
to hear them. Is it him?
Here's what I think they would say.
Or the policies.
He's making America great again. And no, I'm being serious.
I know.
That is what they would
That's
say.
what
and
they
then
say.
when you say, wait,
So
that
is
policy or
Aunt
that?
is Deb gonna say that to me?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
she would say.
I think so.
He's making America great.
Give me an example.
Yeah, and then you have that.
That's what
conversation.
you have to have that
Explain
conversation.
to me.
That's the disadvantage of the
I
letter
know.
is you're not
But
going to be
it's
able to
gotta
have
get
that
it
back
started
and forth.
because there's
You're
so
gonna
many
have
things
back
I
to
need
forth.
to get off my chest before I then can talk to her.
I think these letters are going to go on and on for the next 3 years. I really do.
And I don't want it to be an email. And I'm choosing that because I want her to see my handwriting.
Yeah, the sincerity.
Your shitty
behind
handwriting.
my shitty handwriting that she's known.
Oh my God,
my
she
handwriting's
does
horrible.
not.
I like her handwriting.
We both have
It's
really horrible
horrible.
handwriting, and I've noticed that. I'm like, wow, your handwriting
But
is
no, I'm
almost
all for
worse than
write
mine.
the
So
letter, and if it takes
I've had drafts.
1500
Zach had a draft for her. He was going to send her an email. He wrote it after I talked to him, and you didn't send it.
But it wasn't it cathartic to write, Zach? No.
You did send
It
her.
was like a waste of time.
You didn't send it.
That's
Well-
what I've been struggling with. Is no matter how you can't get across to them.
So the Epstein file thing is kind of coming out right now that
Yeah.
there is no Epstein files. Bullshit, we call. But so I honestly believe there could be photos with video backed up and people proving that it's not AI of Trump fucking a child, and they would still be like,
They'd come up with a reason.
they'd
would
come
say
up
it's
with a
God's
reason.
plan.
Yeah, that is-
I'm being serious when I say
Yeah.
they would say it's God's plan.
yeah. Or it's AI. You hear that all the time. That's AI. That's fake news.
Even if it got
Whatever.
proven, they would say it's God's plan.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
you're
you
like,
know,
"But what does that mean?
So your dad is Jesus camp, right? Your dad went to Jesus. I mean, he was raised
Yeah.
that way. He sincerely said to me, "Is the tragedy in Texas and the flash flooding and the death toll is
awful.
now up to like 110, and there's still children missing." And Ed just looked at me and he said, "That's wrath of God." And he didn't say it tongue in cheek. He's like, "That's seriously, that's wrath of God level retribution. God destroyed the whole planet." And when he
God hates
with the
trailer
ark-
parks.
yeah,
We've always said that. My mom used to live in a trailer park, so we
And-
always said, "Mom, God hates
yeah,
trailer
but no, they don't see that any of this was related to those policies.
And it's a sad thing to say because it's like that makes it sound like we're blaming this on that, which we would never do that. They, on the other hand, are saying that we have weather machines and fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, we have weather machines, and it's going to come out that we have weather machines.
But wouldn't a good so if they're putting this down to religion, wouldn't a good religious person go and help the community?
Yes,
Isn't that
exactly.
literally
Did you
in
see the
their-
president of Mexico
Sent true.
who
Yes.
Yeah.
sent her people over to help
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than Trump has done anything?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So when they
And he's
when,
pulled FEMA funding, so there is no
when
FEMA
they
funding.
go and say, "Oh, it's God's plan," or "Oh, he's the chosen one," "Oh, I trust him." Okay, but isn't he also proving that he's not a
Yeah.
good shit? I'm confused.
Anybody who calls himself Christian and follows this regime is clueless
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this
It does not
this
make
is the
sense.
antithesis of Christianity. This whole they're taking
What would
money.
Jesus not do?
Yes, exactly. They're taking money away from women and children and poor people. They're kicking kicking
Killing
people out of the
people.
country. They're killing people. Like all
he
of
took
these
away
things.
the 14th Amendment.
Yes.
What? How does that happen? How did we lose birthright?
Yeah.
What does that
Birthright
mean?
citizenship. And really, aren't Trump's children? Don't they fall under that?
Yeah, I'm just. It does not make sense.
nothing-
next
none of
question.
this
makes
I'm
sense.
pissed.
question.
I'm pissed.
I know. Me
What
too. See,
has
this is
Trump-
I'm just angry all the time.
I
This is
know.
my normal being right now.
Oh, and she's out of drink.
I'm out of
What has
alcohol.
Trump done policy-wise that you feel genuinely improves your life and your community?
So the argument back at that, which is what Casey keeps telling me, is
doesn't affect us.
how does this affect us? Has anything he's done affect us? And what my argument to that was just because it doesn't affect us doesn't mean we shouldn't
Yeah.
care. And he does
No
care.
empathy.
He does care. But it really has not affected us yet. And I
No.
say yet because I really do think we're
I would
coming
argue,
up on
I would
a
argue
huge-
it has because the prices of things have risen as a result not only of
But
tariffs.
it doesn't affect us because we have money. We have means. So it doesn't affect us because we can still afford
directly. You're
things.
not buying it, as
I was
much.
gonna say I see it. It's about to affect me now in my job.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And just like that, turn
Yeah.
around. It's like great, all right.
Job
but
you
I don't-
love.
Not that I don't care about losing my job. I'm more of like the kids, guys. We just lost billions of dollars. Literally, LAUSD can't renew with us
Yeah.
because they're funded through Title III,
Right.
English language learners.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, that breaks my heart that they literally are gonna have to sit in school and not know English.
Well, how
and
about
be
the
expected-
SNAP? All these
Yeah.
kids and
That's their
women-
only meal of the
and
day.
that's their only meals.
And they think that that's not going to affect them. Well, yeah, now crime rates are going to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
They're gonna have to steal
literally hungry.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe people are going to break into your garage and steal food out of
Oh,
your...
it's all going to be solved, Miranda, when they deport the 20 million
okay.
criminals
Yeah.
out of
Yeah,
our
you-
country.
Because they're all criminals. Everybody's
Yeah.
a criminal. That
There's
they
no poor white people in this
No.
country.
Not at all. So how do you reconcile Trump's disregard for the Constitution and human rights?
That's a good one
don't.
because there is no answer to that one.
Yeah.
Is there an
Is,
answer?
is there answer the ends justify the means?
No, there is no
So
answer
what are they gonna
to
say to
breaking
that?
the Constitution.
What are
I'm
they going
sorry.
to say to that?
I can't see anybody making an argument for that one.
I think they would say something like,
The Constitution's
some
wrong.
Humans are illegal. Like, I'm serious. I think that would be at least.
Okay. So even when you say that,
here is you hear they're illegally in this country. They have
Yeah.
no rights. They
Yeah.
don't know that is not true.
Yeah.
You do have rights in this country. Everyone has. It is the rights of the people,
That
not
is
the
the
right of the
definition of
citizens.
America.
Yes, exactly. It is specifically people, not citizens that
Yes.
have rights, and they are people.
But
despite how we're treating them.
yeah, I would love to hear what they have to say.
Yeah. But that's what I know. That's like I've seen on posts when somebody posts something, and then you get the trolls all posting
Yeah.
the opposite.
They're
not
not citizens.
and that's what they say. They say, well, they're not citizens, so they
Yeah.
don't get any rights
And I'm
under
literally-
our Constitution.
I'm just repeating because I'm like, what would they say? I'm going to the
Yeah.
TikTok comments. I'm like, let me find a MAGA. Let me
Yeah.
see what they're saying.
That's what I've
And
been doing
that's
too.
what they're typing.
Yeah.
But I want to hear Aunt
You wanna
Deb.
hear it
Someone
from somebody that you
educated.
know.
I don't
That's
want to
what
hear
I'm
it
saying.
from some
Yes.
white trash MAGA
Douchebag.
She's not walking around with a red MAGA hat. She is living in her upper middle class house in her upper middle class life.
boating on a lake Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, is there anything he could do that would make you stop supporting him?
That's the question about the pedophile thing. Like,
Yeah,
could he shoot somebody
Yeah, he claims
on the White House
he claims
steps?
he
They
could.
would say,
he claims he could.
I'm telling you, they would say God spoke to him.
He has
and
the right
acted-
because
yeah.
that's the what's her name, press secretary Barbie. What's her name?
Pam Bondi or whatever.
Pam Bondi, whatever her name is. She literally, that's her answer to everything.
Yeah.
Every time somebody asks a question like this, her answer is he's the president of the United States. He has the right to do that.
Yeah.
That is literally
they're
her
treating him
answer.
like God.
Yes. That is
Yeah.
literally her
And
answer
there's
to
supposed
everything.
to be checks and balances with the three branches of government, but he's eroded all that.
Yeah. There is no checks and balances left.
And then I'd like Deb to answer, what is your understanding of Project 2025 and do you endorse it? As a woman
they would probably
with
say
a
no.
daughter,
Yeah.
does she really understand? Because that's the playbook here.
Yeah.
And they haven't hidden that.
They keep saying
he
that
lied
there-
during the
No, there isn't. No, he didn't. He said he didn't know anything about Project 2025. But
It's
if you look at the big
playbook.
bullshit bill, it is 100% Project 2025.
Yeah, and Vance and all the tech bros.
Yeah.
And then the last question I had before you guys can chime in and offer some others is, what are the most pressing issues facing our country and how do you believe the Trump administration is addressing them? Like, what's her answer? Is her answer going to be immigration?
They're all going to say immigration.
Immigration.
They're
and they're
all
going to
gonna
say,
say
yes, he's
immigration.
doing a great job.
And yeah, they'll say.
And a great job
fantastic
is
job.
taking men,
People's
women,
rights
and
away.
children and hoping that alligators kill them.
Yes.
You know, there's a kid.
Jesus would
Did you
want.
see? Oh shit! What's our governor?
Newsom.
Talking about the 12-year-old kid that got left behind, whose parents were deported. 12-year-old kid left behind.
Yeah.
And they're doing nothing about it. They
Yeah.
got nothing. He's reaching out to organizations. He's like, what am I supposed to do with this kid? We have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, trying to reconnect him with his family.
They're going to
just
grab
such-
him and put him in alligator Auschwitz.
Yeah.
And then just the logistics of that. One, where it's built, it's going to flood and people are going to die. What
Yeah.
happened to those kids in the camp in Texas is going to happen at some
Yeah.
point to everybody.
We're starting the hurricane season down in Florida. It's going to hit.
And so they're going to have you there temporarily, then load you on a plane. The plane is going to land in Mexico, and they're just going to jump
take
you on the
everybody-
tarmac.
Yeah, like what are these governments agreeing to this? I don't understand why these governments of these other countries, these people are supposedly being
They're talking
deported
about
to.
displacing 20 million
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I don't understand the logistics, but then again, Trump's cabinet aren't the brightest bulbs.
No.
And so my anger stems from just the complete lack of empathy.
Yeah.
And it's like not even hidden. People say, "Oh, well, Reagan did this, and so did this."
Oh, and Obama. They said Obama put people. They separated families and they put them in these horrible cages.
I imagine there were isolated incidents, but it wasn't policy,
and it wasn't 20 million people or whatever.
May have fell through the cracks, and things may have gone wrong. None of them are infallible.
No,
I don't say
absolutely
that they are.
not.
But this is blatantly standing in front of a cage, laughing about the prospect of the alligators getting fat and happy eating people.
Yeah.
Not implying it,
laughing.
Saying it.
Yes. Yeah.
Very, very different than a mishap that may have happened.
And so my question would be, one, I always ask, anybody that calls himself a Trumper, my first question is, do you consider yourself a Christian? And if you do, how can you possibly see any of this as Christian, as Christ-like?
They go back to the Crusades. They're like, I'm not that Jesus Christian.
Yeah,
I'm the Crusades Christian. I'm spiking people in the field.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Yes, no, it is true. It is these are the violent witch burning religious folk.
How about you, Miranda?
And it's just gross.
Any question that you would like to articulate that I haven't covered?
No.
And does anybody out there have any ideas of what we can do
now?
Yeah,
what do we do?
That was gonna be my question. Is like,
how do we?
I think this was my same demeanor last time, where I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I'm going under, but then not go, and then like the no king stuff happens, where I'm like, okay, you can't go under for that.
You can't go under.
You have to come out, and that was great. Everyone did, but then.
Now what?
Now what?
Okay,
I have to say, I'm finding myself avoiding it all. I'm not watching the news.
Because we both have husbands that, like Ed keeps saying, take the bloody sticker off your car. And I'm like, no, I'm not taking the sticker off my
Casey
car.
wanted to, we couldn't find our flag for 4th of July. And Casey was like, oh, we should go buy a flag. And I said, the only way I'm hanging a fucking flag on my house is if it's upside down.
Which is a sign of distress.
Or I have like a coexist banner with it. That's the only way I'm hanging. And he was like, no, we're not going to do that. Well, and I'm like, then we're not hanging a flag on our house.
Because unfortunately, the flag has become synonymous
a symbol
with the
of
MAGAs.
Trumpy.
Now, I mean, like the No Kings was saying, like, take the flag back. Like, when I was protesting, everyone was handing out flags. We were waving flags with our signs.
I like the flags taking it back. I do like it hanging upside down.
Yeah, I think it should just be either hung upside down.
It's a maritime sign of distress.
Of distress.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, we were literally talking about getting guns, and I sincerely believe that citizens are next. I think he's going to go after anybody that posts anything, which means I'm in trouble.
If birthright citizenship is gone, that means everyone's a target.
Everyone's a target
because none of us are native.
He's going to shut the people up by saying, "Okay, you're going against me. Well,
yeah, you're out."
Yeah. God says.
But then where is he sending us? I mean, are we all going to concentration camps? Are the flames the kennels are going to be, are there going to be ovens? Are we going to be is it going to be Germany Nazi again, I really wonder.
Well, Miranda's still breeding stock, so she'll be fine. You and I are toast.
No, I won't be fine because he doesn't want me breeding and teaching them and educating them.
Yeah.
But you're just like handwives. We're going to need you. You need you for an incubator.
I mean, I'm in favor of Calexit joining Canada. And
there's a dream. I was talking and really thinking about what are we dependent upon other states for? And the number one thing is water. Well, Colorado. And then I was looking into
we could get our water from Washington.
Why don't we descent? Well, then you need northern Cal exit. You need West Coast exit.
It would be West Coast exit.
Yeah,
Washington, Oregon,
and
California.
Desalinization. We're sitting right here on the largest body of water in there. And I was reading what the problem why we don't desalinate more. And the number one two biggest reasons for not using reverse osmosis desalinization are it takes a lot of energy. But then I immediately pivot to we have sunshine 375 days out of the year.
That.
A big investment in that.
Yeah.
But the next one is the disruption to the ecosystems.
It's environmentally shitty. Yeah, it really is.
We have to figure out a way where you put all that salt.
Right.
Because if you dump it back into the ocean, it's going to disrupt ecosystems.
We have Salton Sea. Dump it back out in Salton Sea.
Go to the salt flats in Utah.
We need to create something like that. But so
that's not part of us, though. That wouldn't be part of our country.
But the number one reason it's not used is because those two things are more expensive than getting it from Colorado. But if our life depended on it,
we could do it.
We could do it.
And we could also get it from Washington and Oregon. They have an excess of water
with us.
But I do think I am fearful that we could be heading in this kind of direction. Casey thinks I'm absolutely nuts, but
And we talked about at this juncture, everyone's saying, oh, the midterms, everything's going to get better in the midterms. I'm like, I don't think people realize what this bill did. And it gave him the power to cancel elections. They've already done it with one election in Florida that was supposed to be occurring in November of 2025. And they've already declared, not happening.
We may never get to vote again.
He said it. He actually said it in his campaign. Once again, he's told us all these things. Don't worry your pretty little heads. This is the last election you're going to have to vote in.
Yeah.
And this bill has it buried in there that if he declares a state of national emergency, he can cancel the midterm elections. Guess what's going to be emergency? If he feels like people have rallied together and he's going to lose the House and the Senate.
Yeah.
So while a lot of people are pinning their hat on that, and I was one of them, I've lost that hope when this bill passed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lost hope.
So here's a question. Another friend and I were just talking about this. So if we tried to Calexit or Washington, Oregon,
Can you really,
Calexit.
what's a Calexit? Like we
Cal exits.
Cal
we become our own.
exit. We become part of Canada, or we become
we
our
don't
own
have
country.
that control, so we would just have to.
Kind of like Brexit was
Like
the whole
Brexit.
thing.
That's why it's
Okay.
Calexit.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cal exit.
So,
Cal exit.
so if we're
Leave the United
we
States.
leave the United States, and because California is the richest state, and we're richer than
We're
most
the
countries
fourth largest economy in the world.
in the world, we could do it because we have the money.
Okay, continue.
Money
Okay.
and the resources.
So if and we have resources, we have food and beverages, we have cows, we have everything. We have food, beverages. That's important.
She looks at very important.
It's important to have beverages. Anyway, so all right,
We're
so,
self-sustaining.
So we are self-sustaining. Now here's the question. So we also have most of the military bases on the West Coast. We have many of the manufacturing for the military on the West Coast. So how much of the military would go with
Zach
the U.S.?
said if it came down to it, for the first time, you would enlist, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
For a West Coast Army.
So I think there's enough minorities in the military that I think we would have a fighting chance of getting a lot of those people on our side. And my friend was like, I don't think so. I think we would lose. I think we would be fucked because the military is in our backyard and we can't fight against them. He already took our National Guard away from us. So,
Okay, I have a question then, because I'm one of those pessimists, and I always think of like
the worst case scenario. You read dystopian fiction.
Yes.
That's what I do too.
And in my head, I'm like, so when do we leave?
Yeah.
When do I say, you know what? I have to leave this country because it's no longer safe for me as a young woman.
I gotta say, I would be doing it now if it weren't for Ed.
I would be doing it now if it weren't for Casey.
And I'm saying
Let's
right
go.
now,
No.
I'm saying right now it is a possibility for Brett and I, because we are both at wit's end, and we're nature lovers, and we're watching it. This specific, I mean, it's going to affect the world, but it's like agreeing. It's like boiling it up to the if you silently listen, you're in agreement. So like to racism.
Yeah.
If you don't speak up, you're in agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're sitting in California basically agreeing to everything that's going down. And I don't feel comfortable here. I literally don't feel safe on the streets. I'm getting called.
And we're in
California.
We're in California.
Like, can you imagine being
When
in a
do we
red
leave?
state right now?
Like, if you just sat here, if it wasn't for Ed, okay, put yourself in Brett and I's shoes. I have a job where I can live in any country.
For now.
For now. For maybe another year. We don't have kids. We could sell our house and have enough money.
I would go.
leave.
I would go to Victoria, outside of Victoria, Canada.
Yep, I just was about to say Canada.
Or Portugal.
Because we want land.
Portugal.
I would go to Portugal. It's the same
Portugal,
climate.
same climate as here.
But this used to be kind of like the joke you'd say. It's like, when do we leave? When is it?
When
like,
do you leave?
Wait,
Yeah.
when
You know
do I
what?
leave?
I'm going to say if the midterm elections really do get canceled,
Then you go.
Then we
I'm
go.
going.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
That's my
come
line
on.
in the sand.
I'm not going to get Casey out of here. I'm
I think when you
screwed.
see the land we get in Canada, you'll say, never mind.
We're
Yeah.
coming to your
We got
compound.
chickens
But
and
no,
goats.
do you think if that actually happened, because Casey doesn't believe that that's even, he laughs when we say it. Laughs,
I
laughs,
didn't
laughs.
believe 2025 was going to get passed.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And that's
Big,
what
beautiful bill
the
or
big
whatever.
bullshit
BB
bill.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
The big bullshit bill.
I didn't either. And back in my house, so when it was like the Senate was coming down, and
I really thought within the Senate, I thought somebody would flip, and then I thought when it came back, I thought it would
the
flip.
Senate won on J.D. Vance's one vote. It came down to a tie.
I really did not think it would go through the Senate, and then I thought if it went through the Senate, it would never, because there were people that were like, well, I voted for it this time, but if it comes back,
I know it's going to die.
I know it's going to die, so
I'm that much of a pussy.
Yeah. Because God forbid I stand up for myself.
I really believed it. Up until the 11th hour, I believed it. And then when the Alaska lady caved, I'm like, holy shit, there's so much more going on behind the scenes that we don't understand.
Yeah.
So if the midterms don't happen, I'm out. Or God forbid, the even worse thing is the midterms happen and all the shenanigans, and they get the majority again. Because then I know there's never a chance because the fix is in.
And it's fixed.
And I guess what I'm sitting here going is, I actually believe that that's going to happen.
Yeah. And that's in a year.
That's where I'm like,
the only thing we can hope
that's in a year.
is that because Elon is now no longer in his pocket, I think Elon's the one that fixed the votes. I think he's the one that
I wanted him to come out because he's just ketamine enough now and he's starting his own party. I wanted him to come out with, here's the Epstein list, and just put it out on X.
Yep.
And I wanted him to come out with the proof, even though it could land him in jail, of this is how we got Pennsylvania, this is how we got Wisconsin, and just incriminate himself to high freaking heaven.
I think he still
because he won't go to a pound me in the ass.
I think
prison.
he can still thinks he can get back in with the into the White House again.
Because we don't have anyone to back at this juncture, and I don't trust the Democrats. I'm not sitting here and saying,
trust the
"Oh my
Democrats.
God, Republicans bad, Democrats good." No, neither one is doing what they need to do.
And nobody I know feels that way.
When was the last time an independent one?
They didn't. They've never.
No, they have a million years ago.
When the first time
before the parties were really established.
Yeah,
that's where my brain's at. Is I'm like, that's the only chance I see us getting out of this.
Yeah.
I just think America's. It's great again. I need to stop using sarcasm because people on podcasts
they think you're being serious.
Yeah, and also people will soundbite this and then they'll go,
"Oh,
but
Miranda
you said this."
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
But anyways, so that's been an actual thought where I'm just like, how do you leave?
That's my line in the sand.
And when do you leave? As a girl,
I'm curious if Casey would even go if that's the case.
Well, I bring this sentence goes through my head regularly when I wake up middle of the night sleeplessly and restlessly, is when I look back years from now, will I be proud of how I acted during this time?
Yes.
And I have to say right now, I don't think I'm doing enough.
I don't think I'm doing enough.
But I don't know what the frick I should be doing.
We have this group called the Resisters. And they are super. They're down boycotting ISA.
Most of them are retired.
Most of them are retired. And they're constantly doing stuff. They're boycotting.
Writing letters, making calls.
They're protesting. They're
and
doing.
God love them. But I don't know that it's doing anything. Because as long as the election can be fixed and or canceled.
What does it do? Yeah, what does it do?
What's the difference? Getting the message out there, getting people to commit to it. I don't know. Short of something happening like on The Boys where all the bad people's heads explode or their hearts explode, I just don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many things that have already happened.
I don't know what the answer is.
So even if magically we win
we have to
the
midterms,
so much has been done.
They're already
that
plowing
can't be
under
undone.
BLM land, and
a lot in 6 months has happened that cannot be undone.
Right.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying is okay, so here, this is where I'm choosing to live in America right now.
Yeah.
Yes, I was born here. I can leave. I'm an adult.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, wait, why am I not leaving at this point?
Have you looked into what it takes to?
It takes.
I have
a lot. Is what I got from ChatGPT.
So some countries it does. Like New Zealand, you have to buy $750,000 worth of property and show that you're gainfully employed. So that's a big one.
And you have to make a certain income. It's not just gainfully employed.
Canada's is actually not that difficult if you're currently working. If you're currently working, they're happy to have you over there. They aren't required to buy anything. Because I don't think I would buy anything if I'm going to go.
I'm going to rent for.
I'm going to rent.
Yeah, you rent.
I'm going to figure out what's going on.
Well, you want to figure out where you want to live and stuff.
Yeah, my friend,
that's what I'm saying, is why aren't we
friend of a friend who moved to Portugal 2 years ago. They rented for the first 2 years till they found the area that they wanted. Did they want to be in Lisbon? Did they want it wherever?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know my former boss, his plan is Malaga, Spain.
Yeah. But it's all these we've all said it, but okay, I'm 28, he's 29. we're gonna start a family soon. Now would be the time to do it, and especially with the fact that I'm almost to the point where I'm afraid to be in America.
Yeah.
And then here's our immigrants getting kicked out. I'm about to go be an immigrant in another country because I'm afraid of where I live.
Yeah.
And part of
As a
me
girl.
too is saying we're not the only ones thinking this. And if we wait too long,
If you wait too long, then
they're
might
going to
start.
close the borders.
Yeah,
Then
they're going to say we're going to be the people climbing over the wall
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
thing. I mean, we,
I don't know,
we
it's
laugh
just like-
about it tongue in cheek, but
Yeah,
that's
that's what I'm
why
saying.
I
It's-
I wish I could get.
And see, and Casey thinks we're being ridiculous.
I know.
Like, this is, and maybe we are. I hope he's right.
I thought-
Ed's
I hope
not
he's
quite
right.
as
3 years
radical
when he
as
said this,
Casey, but Ed still thinks. I think Ed believes there's going to be midterm elections and that everything's going to get fixed and it'll just have a bumpy road for the next 16 months. I think he really believes that. But this is the same guy over the last 8 years who thought Trump was going to jail.
Yeah.
He would be I remember him doing the dance when
Yeah.
he got. And
I do too, and I'm laughing now because that meant nothing. They elected a man who should be in prison, and if you ask a Trump supporter, they'll say, "Oh, that was all fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Fake
all fixed.
news.
Fake news.
Fake
That was all fixed." Yeah. Anyway,
boiling.
So yeah, I know. So
right.
that leads to the drink of the show,
Which is gone.
Yeah, from my book, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margarita. Is As I Lay Drinking. Which is a take on the Faulkner As I Lay,
As I Lay
Dying,
Dying.
which it very easily could have just stayed As I Lay Dying.
and drinking.
Yes. It was
Together.
cranberry raspberry juice with my passion fruit brewed tea that I made and some vodka garnished with, I did a lemon and then a little
Candy.
candy rope, not even rope, what was that? Candy
Gummy
strip,
strip.
strippy thing.
Yummy.
Yes.
It was yummy. Yeah,
So-
that's your nod to pride.
Yes, as
I
I
guess pride's over,
lay
isn't it?
drinking.
We're always pride. It's always pride around here.
Yeah. Soup
We're
of
finally right there.
the, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're proud.
Soup of this show. This is yours, Elle. Tom Kha Thai soup.
I love Tom Kha Thai soup. Yeah.
Vegetarian edition using better than bouillon veggie broth, tofu or shrimp. Elle's a big shrimp eater.
Yeah.
Coconut milk, and my recipe would also add a bit of cream of coconut to really amp up the
Well,
coconut
it is
flavor.
cream of coconut.
It's coconut milk.
Oh, coconut milk. You're
Cream
right.
of coconut is
different?
Yes. So not use sparingly because bam, that packs a punch.
Yeah.
Yours is the book recommendation today too. It's a series that I have not found on audiobook, so it's not.
I swear I recommended this one already. It's Val Fremden series. This Val Fremden is the character. It's Absolute Zero, I think, is his first book. It's Margaret.
So similar to the Stephanie Plum and Janet
Very,
Ivanovich.
very
so the
similar.
first one is Zero. And
Yeah,
then,
it's
okay.
very similar to Janet Ivanovich because
Yeah.
it's funny. The character is a mess, and she helps solve crimes.
Yeah.
And, so it's just she's really funny.
I
and
didn't
I've
find
read
it
a
on
ton
audio.
of them. I've read a lot of them. I don't know if I've read all of them, but quite a few.
Yeah. Song that has been living rent free in my head lately is called This Year by the Mountain Goats. And the chorus from that song is, I'm going to make it through this year if it kills me.
Kills me. And my song is Shame by Elle King. And the reason it comes up on my bike mix when I'm biking. So I'm biking up a hill going, shame, 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 shame. Because I'm thinking about politics and all these people, shame on you, shame on you. And then I'm also singing pain, 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 pain. So anyway, it's a good song. So anyway, I guess that's it for us.
Well, I've got my thought to end the
sorry.
show.
Oh, good.
I forgot about the thought
Yeah,
for ending the
this
show.
one this was not spicy. This one is one of those deep thoughts.
Deep Thoughts.
There will
by
always
Dylan
be a
Schultz.
lie in believe, an over in lover, and an end in friend, and an us in trust.
Oh, that's lovely.
Trying to spell all those words.
I
in
know,
my brain.
exactly. It was easier when you were looking at it.
I needed to read it.
All right. Well, I'm Elle.
And I'm Dylan.
And we both love
love soup.